Have you ever wondered how some people stay calm while the world around them falls apart? When chaos strikes, when deadlines close in, relationships crumble, or uncertainty surrounds every decision, most people panic, but a rare few move differently. Their minds stay still, sharp and focused. They don't run from pressure. They master it. And this isn't magic. It's a mindset. It's the Stoic way of living, the same mental armor that made Marcus Aurelius rule an empire under constant war, that allowed Seneca to stay composed as Rome burned, and gave Epictetus, once a slave, the power to rise above everything life tried to break in him. These men discovered something eternal. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your training ground. And today you'll learn 4 Stoic habits that can turn life's heaviest burdens into the very fuel that builds your strength, discipline, and peace of mind. Let's start with the truth. Everyone faces pressure. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a student, a parent, or an athlete. The pressure to perform, to provide, to prove yourself, it never ends. But most people treat pressure like an enemy. They react emotionally, complain, and let stress consume them. The Stoics did the opposite. They invited pressure because they knew something deeper. You can't control what happens, only how you respond. When Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events," he wasn't giving motivational advice. He was teaching survival. Because when you stop fighting external chaos, you gain full command of your internal world, and that's where true power begins. Now imagine this. You're in the middle of a storm. The rain is violent, the wind deafening, everything around you moves. Most people run, but the Stoic stands still, watching, breathing, unmoved. This is habit number 1, embrace the storm. The Stoics didn't seek comfort. They sought clarity within discomfort. Seneca trained for mental resilience by imagining worst-case scenarios before they happened. He called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil. Every morning he visualized loss, hardship, and humiliation, so that when they arrived, he met them with calm acceptance, not fear. You see, when you mentally face your storms before they come, you stop being afraid of them. Pressure loses its power when you've already conquered it in your mind. Think about your life right now. Where do you feel the most pressure? Maybe it's your job, your relationship, or your future. What if instead of resisting that pressure, you practiced the Stoic habit of embracing it? Sit with it. Study it. Ask, what is this teaching me? Because every ounce of pressure you feel is shaping a stronger version of you. The Stoics believed life's hardships weren't curses. They were custom-built lessons. And the moment you see them as such, your suffering transforms into strength. Pressure becomes your teacher. So, as we move forward, keep this in your mind. Don't escape pressure. Elevate through it. The next Stoic habit will show you how to stay composed when emotions try to hijack your mind. How to train your thoughts like a warrior, so you never lose control again. When the world provokes you, when someone insults you, when plans fail, when anger boils inside you, the real battle isn't out there. It's in your mind. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. They understood that emotions are like wild horses, powerful but uncontrollable if left untrained. You can either let them drag you through chaos, or you can learn to guide them with reason. This is habit number 2, master emotional control. It's the Stoic art of keeping your inner world calm, even when everything outside is falling apart. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who led one of the most powerful civilizations in history, faced betrayals, plagues, wars, and the death of his children. Yet his writings and meditations remain calm, rational, and full of compassion. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Think about that for a moment. He's saying that the things that hurt you, insults, rejection, failure, have no power on their own. It's your interpretation that gives them power. Imagine how differently you would live if you paused before reacting, if you trained yourself to respond, not react. That's emotional mastery. In today's world, where everyone is triggered by something, where social media thrives on outrage, this Stoic habit is revolutionary. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control whether their chaos enters your mind. Epictetus, born a slave, taught his students that no man is free who is not master of himself. Freedom isn't about external circumstances. It's the ability to remain unshaken no matter what happens. You can be surrounded by conflict, criticism, or uncertainty, and still choose peace. That's real strength. Here's how you can start mastering it. The next time anger rises, pause. Don't react instantly. Notice your breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Seneca said, anger, if not restrained, is more destructive than the injury that provokes it. Think about that. Most pain in life doesn't come from what happens to us, but from how we let it echo inside us. The Stoic trains for silence when the world shouts, for composure when chaos strikes. It's not suppression, it's transformation. You're not ignoring your emotions, you're channeling them through reason. Picture a firefighter walking calmly through smoke. His heart races, but his movements are precise. He doesn't panic because he's trained for pressure. That's what emotional control feels like. You're still human, you feel everything, but you choose not to be ruled by it. Pressure becomes practice. Every moment of irritation, every test of patience is a chance to train your inner fortress. And soon, what once made you angry will barely move you. If you can learn to master your emotions, you become untouchable. Not in an arrogant way, but in a grounded one. Because when you stop letting external forces dictate your mood, you regain ownership of your life. The Stoics called this eudaimonia, the state of flourishing through virtue and wisdom. It's not about being happy all the time, it's about being unbreakable in every situation. Remember this, your emotions are signals, not commands. You can feel fear without obeying it. You can feel anger without becoming it. You can feel pressure without crumbling under it. The Stoics didn't aim to eliminate emotion. They aimed to master it so that reason always led the way. And that's where habit number 3 comes in, the discipline of action. Because Stoicism isn't just about thinking or feeling, it's about doing. The next habit will show you how the Stoics turned their calm minds into unstoppable momentum, how they acted with courage and precision even in impossible circumstances, and how you can do the same. There's a dangerous illusion most people live under, the idea that peace means doing nothing, that calmness means stillness. But the Stoics rejected that. They believed that true peace is found not in retreat, but in disciplined action. You cannot think your way into strength. You must act your way there. This is habit number 3, the discipline of action. Because while emotions test your inner world, pressure tests your outer one, and the only way to master it is through consistent, intentional movement. Marcus Aurelius didn't spend his days meditating in silence. He led armies, governed Rome, and made decisions that affected millions. And yet he wrote in Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Those 8 words contain the Stoic blueprint for greatness. Stop waiting for perfect conditions, stop overthinking, and start doing. The Stoics understood something modern society often forgets. Motion creates clarity. Action is how philosophy becomes real. Seneca warned against procrastination more than 2,000 years ago. He said, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." Think about that. Every day you spend doubting yourself, scrolling endlessly, or waiting for motivation, you're letting life pass by. The Stoic doesn't wait for inspiration. He commands it through action. Even the smallest step, taken with purpose, has more power than hours of hesitation. The modern world rewards talkers, dreamers, and planners. But Stoicism rewards doers, because action, not theory, reveals character. Now, discipline doesn't mean emotionless grind. It means alignment, your actions matching your values. The Stoics taught that every day is a battlefield where your habits decide your fate. When you rise early, work diligently, and focus on what truly matters, you're not just achieving goals, you're training your soul, the foe. Stoics didn't seek praise for their efforts. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, when you've done a good act and another has benefited by it, why, like a fool, do you look for a third thing, credit or repayment? Discipline for them wasn't about recognition, it was about integrity, doing the right thing even when no one sees it. And here's the paradox. Action itself destroys fear. Most anxiety exists in imagination, not reality. Epictetus told his students, it's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. The moment you act, the fog clears. Movement silences doubt. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cold ocean. The longer you wait, the more your mind screams not to jump in. But the second you do, the fear disappears, replaced by clarity and presence. That's Stoic discipline. Not waiting until you feel ready, but acting despite discomfort. In the modern age of comfort and distraction, pressure has become the enemy of most people. But for the Stoic, pressure is the forge. Every task you do when you don't want to, every disciplined act repeated in silence, strengthens your character's steel. You become reliable under fire, steady when others break. The Stoics believed that purpose isn't found in grand ideas, but in doing ordinary things extraordinarily well. Writing letters, leading soldiers, teaching students, their greatness came from repetition, not spectacle. If habit number 1 taught you to embrace pressure, and habit number 2 taught you to master your emotions under it, habit number 3 demands you move through it, to take purposeful action no matter how heavy the resistance. Because every disciplined act, every deliberate effort, shapes the version of you who can handle life at its hardest. But the Stoic path doesn't end there. Action without reflection can lead to chaos, and effort without perspective can turn into burnout. That's why the next Stoic habit, perhaps the most overlooked, is about perspective and control of thought. It's the lens through which all Stoic power flows. How to see clearly when others are blinded by stress, and how to turn every setback into a lesson that propels you forward. Here's the truth. The world doesn't break you. Your perception of it does. The Stoics discovered that reality is neutral until your thoughts label it as good or bad, success or failure, blessing or curse. That's why habit number 4, control of thought and perspective, is the core of Stoicism. It's the ability to look at life through a disciplined lens, to see clearly when others are blinded by fear, and to find power where most people only see pain. Because life will always throw chaos your way. The only thing that decides whether it crushes you or refines you is the story you tell yourself about it. Epictetus, born into slavery, once said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." Think about how radical that is. A man stripped of freedom, wealth, and status, claiming that peace still belongs to him because he controls his mind. Most people believe freedom comes from changing their environment. The Stoic knows freedom comes from changing perception. You could lose everything, your job, your money, your comfort, but if your thoughts remain steady, you lose nothing essential. That's the invincibility Stoicism teaches. Mental sovereignty. Marcus Aurelius faced endless challenges. Betrayal from his closest allies, the Antonine Plague that wiped out millions, and constant wars on the empire's borders. Yet his personal diary wasn't filled with despair. Instead he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's not just philosophy. It's alchemy. Turning pain into purpose, pressure into progress. Every obstacle is a test. Every difficulty is an invitation to rise. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" He asks, "What can I learn from this?" You see, pressure can't destroy you, but your perspective can. When you tell yourself a story of defeat, you start living it. When you shift your narrative toward growth, the same struggle becomes fuel. Think of Thomas Edison, who failed over 1,000 times before creating the light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That's Stoic thinking in action. Failure is only final when you stop interpreting it as feedback. Here's how to apply this Stoic habit in your own life. Whenever you face hardship, step back and reframe it. Ask, what is this situation training me for? If someone criticizes you, it's training your humility. If you lose something, it's training your detachment. If life slows you down, it's teaching you patience. Every pressure point becomes a mirror, revealing the areas where you still need to grow. The Stoic sees the lesson in the loss before the pain even fades. Seneca often reminded his students that fire tests gold, adversity tests brave men. So the next time pressure builds, remember, this is your fire. Every difficult situation is crafting your resilience, sculpting your character, and strengthening your mind. Perspective transforms suffering into wisdom. And in a world drowning in negativity, this habit becomes a superpower. While others spiral into self-pity, the Stoic practices gratitude. While others chase what they can't control, the Stoic focuses on what's within reach: thoughts, actions, attitude. You can't stop storms, but you can decide how to stand in the rain. That's Stoic vision, the clarity to see meaning in the madness. But there's one more layer, the bridge that connects all these Stoic habits, the art of reflection and stillness. Because action without awareness burns out. Control without contemplation loses soul. The final Stoic habit ties everything together: how to pause, reflect, and return to yourself when life's noise becomes deafening. It's the secret weapon of every great philosopher and every unshakable mind: the practice of inner stillness. At the end of every day, when the world goes silent and the lights fade, you face the most important conversation of all, the one with yourself. The Stoics believed that no progress, no wisdom, no mastery is possible without reflection. That's why habit number 5, the practice of reflection and stillness, is the foundation that holds all others together. You can embrace the storm, control your emotions, act with discipline, and reshape your perspective. But without stillness, you'll eventually lose your way. Reflection is how the Stoic resets the mind, recenters the soul, and reclaims control from the chaos of life. Marcus Aurelius ended each day by journaling, not to write poetry or philosophy for the world, but to inspect his own soul. He reviewed his thoughts, his reactions, his failures. He asked himself, did I act according to my principles? Did I let anger, greed, or fear guide me? That simple nightly ritual is one of the most powerful Stoic habits ever recorded. Because self-awareness is the compass of wisdom. Without it, even the strongest man walks in circles. With it, every mistake becomes direction, every weakness becomes growth. The Stoic doesn't fear silence, he seeks it, because in silence, the truth speaks. Seneca called reflection a rehearsal for life. He advised his students to spend time in solitude, not as escape, but as refinement, to polish the mirror of the mind. In a world of noise and distraction, stillness has become rare, almost rebellious. People fill every quiet moment with sound, every pause with scrolling, every feeling with reaction. But the Stoic trains for quiet, because silence isn't emptiness, it's power. It's where the mind heals, recalibrates, and remembers what truly matters. Try this tonight. Before bed, put your phone away. Sit in silence for just 5 minutes. Replay your day. Ask yourself, what did I do well? What can I improve? Did I live today according to my highest values? Don't judge yourself. Observe yourself. That's how you build self-mastery. Every reflection plants a seed of awareness, and every seed, when watered by discipline, grows into peace. You begin to understand that most of your stress comes not from life itself, but from forgetting who you are beneath all the noise. Stillness is not about doing nothing. It's about seeing everything clearly. It's the moment between action and reaction, the sacred pause where wisdom lives. When you cultivate that inner calm, pressure becomes just another wave in a vast ocean. You don't fight the wave, you learn to ride it. The Stoics weren't detached from life. They were deeply engaged, but never enslaved by emotion or circumstance. They faced storms, loss, pain, and betrayal, and yet remained centered, grounded, awake. Because reflection made them aware, and awareness made them free. So remember these 5 Stoic habits. Embrace the storm, master emotional control, live with discipline, control your thoughts, and practice reflection. Together they form the armor of the unshakable mind. Pressure doesn't destroy those who are prepared for it. It reveals them. Every challenge you face is sculpting you into someone stronger, wiser, calmer. The Stoics weren't superhuman. They simply practiced what most people avoid: patience, reason, and self-command.